But the problem with this country is a software problem. We want to condemn the problem in this country is a software problem. We want to condemn the continued disobedience of court orders by the leadership of the National Assembly, the Speaker himself. We want to continue to condemn the intimidation and harassment. I can tell you for a fact that the only problem they have with Anthony Kibagendi is that Mr. Kibagendi has stayed on business on matters of corruption at SHA. And they want to kill that voice in the National Assembly because they know that is where the people sent us to be able to represent them. If we are asking questions about corruption in SHA, if we are asking questions on whether SHA is working or not, that is our responsibility as members of Parliament. So for any person to try and victimize members of the National Assembly or the Senate for just doing their jobs, it is something that has to be condemned. And this is why we continue to say we must fix the software problem. Kenyans should not be lied to using shiny things. Dictators build stadiums. As I have said, Moi is the one who built Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. It's a beautiful stadium. But he used to harass our fathers. They would see police Land Rovers and run into the sugarcane. That is not the life we want to live under. Stadiums are nice, but rule of law is better. There is no investor who can come to a country that is governed by the rule of the jungle. So we want to say that decision by the National Assembly Speaker is again illegal, unconstitutional, and we shall be pushing even through the courts for contempt proceedings to be initiated against the Speaker and the leadership of the National Assembly for that disobedience of a court order. Thank you very much. I will allow my colleagues to also say something, starting with Babu from the National Assembly, and then we'll go back to the Senate. We can just switch, Babu. We can just switch.
Thank you very much, members of the press. Good morning. I want to take this opportunity to condemn the contemptuous act by the National Assembly to blatantly, intentionally, and deliberately disobey court orders without any legal justification. The suspension given to Anthony Kibagendi by the Speaker of the National Assembly is null and void, just simply because Anthony Kibagendi uttered words which to the Speaker he thought that were not words that should be uttered in public. And I want to say that Kibagendi had a right to speech, a right to speak, because we know that freedom of speech is the oxygen of democracy. He spoke outside Parliament, and therefore whatever he said is not binding inside Parliament or within the precincts of Parliament. The Speaker and members of the National Assembly, some members of National Assembly, have acted very unprofessionally. It is unprofessional, both unprofessional conduct and a professional misconduct on the side of the Speaker and some members of the National Assembly to disobey court orders whose terms were very clear, unambiguous, and binding. And until now, those terms are very binding. We will, therefore, as members of Linda Mwananchi, proceed and file a judicial review application under certificate of urgency at the High Court of Kenya and seek for 2 extraordinary common law remedies which shall ensure administrative accountability and legality. We shall seek for an order of mandamus to compel the Speaker to obey court orders. And we shall also seek for an order of certiorari to quash or annul the decision to suspend or further suspend Honorable Kibagendi for 14 days. And we want the court to assert its authority and dignity and punish the contemnors to ensure that they are punished. Speaker is an officer of the court and he knows better that he should not be in contempt of the court decisions. Court decisions are not just mere suggestions, and therefore that order must be obeyed. Thank you and God bless you.
Well, I think the decision of Speaker Wetangula puts into question the principle of the separation of powers in the three levels of government, because a judiciary cannot make a decision and the head of legislature decides to ignore the decision of the other level of government. So we want to ask the Speaker of the National Assembly. He took an oath to uphold and protect the Constitution, and he should just do that. Otherwise, we want to encourage Mheshimiwa Kibagendi to move to court and obtain contempt of court so that the law takes its course, because no one is above the law. Number two, I think this thing is unprecedented. The first such incident happened during the one-party state when Honorable Jean Soronei was intimidated and arrested for what he said on the seat of the Speaker, when he said that it's obvious thing that Kanu was dead. Now he was punished for that. Now the second person now to face the same challenge is Honorable Kibagendi. Only that this one is even worse, because what Kibagendi said, he said it outside Parliament. Something that he said outside there. And now he's being punished. And we have had so many strange things being said by many members of Parliament, and no action has been taken against him, against them. This is the only one that we are seeing Kibagendi is being targeted for his strong stance against Shah, for his strong stance behind Linda Mwananchi. And we also want to remind Kenyans that we have complained in the recent past about the neutrality and impartiality of the Speaker.